Welcome back. I'm going to try my best to keep this video extremely short. I just want to show you Alec's family connections, as well as some associates and people that will be showing up in the trial. This doesn't even begin to touch the number of people that have been affected by Alec and his crimes, alleged crimes. But I thought it would be a good way for people to visually see how some people were connected. We'll start with Randolph Murdaugh, Alec's great-grandpa who started the law firm in Hampton County. Next came his son, who had the same name, he's a junior, but goes by the nickname Buster. Buster fathered Randolph Murdaugh III. Now, all three served as solicitors in the 14th Circuit in the Low Country of South Carolina. I've left their spouses' names off, and I will leave off any other family members that are not directly involved in the trial. So the last solicitor, Randolph Murdaugh III, had 4 children. First, his namesake, which goes by the nickname Randy, then John Marvin, then Richard Alexander, which goes by the nickname Alec, and finally Lynn. Randy still practices law at the firm, which has been renamed the Parker Law Group. Alec, who is now disbarred, is at the center of several South Carolina investigations, including the murder of his wife and son. Alec married Margaret Kennedy Brandstetter, also known as Maggie, to her friends and family. They had 2 children, Richard Alexander Murdaugh Jr., who goes by Buster, and Paul Terry Murdaugh. The following are names that you are going to hear throughout the trial. Stephen Smith was 19 years old when he was killed in what the South Carolina Highway Patrol investigators originally ruled a hit and run. His case was later reopened after the Murdaugh double homicide investigation began. He was a classmate of Buster's, and while no one has been charged in relation to his death, Buster's name did come up several times in the investigation. Mallory Beach died in a boat crash that was piloted by Paul Murdaugh. Paul and the others on the boat were reportedly grossly intoxicated that night. Anthony Cook, Connor Cook, and Morgan Doty were also in that boat crash. They survived. You will hear their names several times throughout the timeline. Gloria Satterfield was the Murdaugh family housekeeper of over 20 years. She died in 2018 in a trip and fall accident at the Murdaugh property. Alec reportedly went to her sons after her death and said that since it was his property that her death occurred on, he was going to sue himself and give the boys the insurance money. However, they never saw any of that money. Curtis Eddie Smith. He's a former client of Alec's. Alec told authorities he conspired with Smith to kill Alec as part of an insurance fraud scheme so that Alec's surviving son Buster could collect a $10 million life insurance payout. Smith admitted in 2021 to being present at the shooting and disposing of the firearm afterward, although he alleges they got in a tussle and the firearm discharged. Corey Fleming was a longtime lawyer friend of Alec, former college roommate, and the godfather to Paul. Alec introduced Gloria's sons to Fleming after her death, so that Fleming could aid in filing a lawsuit against Alec. Her sons were never informed of the conflict of interest. Fleming convinced one of the sons, Tony Satterfield, to sign representation of his mother's estate over to Chad Westendorf. Connor Cook also named Fleming in a suit, claiming on the night of the boating accident, Alec started a whisper campaign to spread false rumors that Cook was driving instead of Paul. Alec introduced him to Fleming, who, as his attorney, directed him not to speak to authorities. Russell Lafitte is a former CEO of Palmetto State Bank, now federally convicted co-conspirator of Alec Murdaugh. Lafitte was convicted on a slew of charges for using Palmetto State Bank as a tool to launder money Alec allegedly stole. The Honorable Judge Clifton Newman. He's a South Carolina Circuit Court judge hearing the case. He's been on the bench since 2000. Newman has presided over various proceedings in the Murdaugh case since 2021. Creighton Waters is a South Carolina Senior Assistant Deputy Attorney General and lead prosecutor. He has been involved with the case since 2021. The state's Attorney General's office is prosecuting the case because of the Murdaugh family's close ties to the local solicitor's office. Richard Harpootlian, also known as Dick, is Alec's main defense attorney. Harpootlian is a South Carolina state senator and attorney whose Columbia-based practice specializes in criminal defense. He's well known for his courtroom theatrics. And Jem Griffin is Alec's other defense attorney, a former federal prosecutor. He now works as a state and federal criminal defense attorney based in Columbia, South Carolina. These are just some of the names that are going to be mentioned in the double murder trial of Paul and Maggie Murdaugh.